Hello guys, it's Easy here, the new dev diary, and as you can see in the background of the video, you can see the new update that will come into this year. And one of the part of the MP mode, because it's not published towards yet, more information comes later on about that, is the Anglo-Zulu War. The background will change a bit because I'm going to add a different battle map on the screen that is more based on the Anglo-Zulu War. So they're not yet custom battles. I will add two new custom battles, and that will be the Battle of Isla Nuana and Orcs Adrift. I think it makes sense. Of course, they're the most famous ones, and they also were projected on the big screen some years ago with Zulu, the movie in the 60s, and Zulu Down. I'm just going to lower the sound a bit so you can hear me a bit better. Okay, so as you can see, it's about the Anglo-Zulu War mod. It's just custom battles. Remember, it's MP mode. It's multiplayer and single player custom battles, so I just put MP mode just to help out a bit the multiplayer, you could say multiplayer community as Napoleon Total War have, and I'm trying to add as much as conflicts as I can. So if you go into custom battles, you have here two factions, so British Empire Natal, Era 5, and Zulu Kingdom, Era 5. So Era 5, remember, I talked about my previous dev diaries. They just represent a timeline, approximately. So from 1870 to 1880, that's Era 5. So here you can have the information. We'll probably change it to faction info, not traits. So yeah, just read for yourself so you have an idea. You go to the Zulu Kingdom, click again, and it gives you also the information about the Zulu Kingdom. This is not a history lesson, so you probably know about the Zulu Wars of 1879. It was very interesting, especially after the first battle, or the Battle of Isla Nuana, where a native force actually beat a modern force. I think it was one of the first times that it really happened in that time frame, especially with British loaders and all that stuff. So Battle of Isla Nuana, very good movie. Zulu Down, it's a really must-see to see the movie to give you a bit more perspective. So let's see the units of the British Empire. I want to thank Sam. He actually helped me out to look up the right regiments and the colors and whatsoever. I must say that this time with the British, you really have an accurate information about how the uniforms were approximately, and also the badges and whatsoever. So let's see. So here we have the general staff. Remember, double click on it and then it opens the entire other army roster. So you have the Natal Mounted Police, you have the Natal Carabiniers, the Victoria Mounted Rifles, the 1st King's Dragoon Guards, the Newcastle Mounted Rifles, the Alexandra Mounted Rifles, you have the Durban Mounted Rifles, you have the Natal Hussars, you have the Sikali Natal Native Horse, and then you have the Frontier Light Horse and the 17th Lancers, or the Duke of Cambridge on Lancers, Lord. So here then we have Siege Artillery, we have the 9-pounder Hail rockets and the 24-pounder Hail rockets. So this is mostly the information I looked up for the Zulu Wars. So then you have the Skirmish Light Infantry, you have the Natal Native Contingent, you have the 13th Somerset Light Infantry, you have the 19th Perth Scott Rifles, you have the 16th King's Royal Rifles, and you have the Transvaal Burgher Force that were, of course, made out of the Boers. Then you have the 18th Regiment of Foot, the 57th Regiment of Foot, the 99th Regiment of Foot, the 94th Regiment of Foot, the 21st Royal Scots Fusiliers, the 58th Regiment of Foot, the 24th Regiment of Foot, very famous one at Rorke's Drift, and I think part at Isla Nuana, 3rd Regiment of Foot, the Naval Brigade, and the 91st Argyle Highlanders. In that time they were actually using pants. Then you have the field artillery, the 7-pounder muzzleloader guns, rifle guns, the 9-pounder rifle muzzleloader, the 6-pounder Armstrong gun, Gatling gun, the 9-pounder Armstrong gun, and the 12-pounder Armstrong gun. Now I know that there were mountain guns even of a lighter caliber, but just for the sake of gameplay, and I made a standardization throughout the game, I just kept it 6, 9, 12, etc. Then we have the melee infantry, you have the Natal native contingent also, but then the spear one. Now I know that there was a mix between musket and spears, so yeah, it's a bit difficult in the game to have a melee and a musket mixed up in one unit. It's impossible actually, so I just separated between the spear one and the musket one. Well, it's actually a breach, but they're using the Snyder Enfield, so they're not using the Martini Henrys in that time. I think those Martini Henry Mark 1 and 2, if I remember, I'm not very sure. But they are using Snyder Enfields because historically the people from South Africa, especially the civilians actually, that didn't like that they were arming black native soldiers, so that's why they were reverting back to a previous actually one. I mean, at least the people from South Africa were complaining about it. I mean, you have to read the history, it's pretty interesting. So it's not a political channel, so it's all up to history, but it's interesting to see. So now we go to the let me see, let me go to the Zulu Kingdom. So double click, so we have the chief bodyguard, we have the scout. So the scout is using a flintlock musket, but it's historical because they were using a lot of old technologies that were sold some years ago by the British. You have the names are going to be a disaster to, I will do my best, but I'm sure I don't speak Zulu, so I just looked it up. So yeah, the Indlonlo, the Ingo Bamakosi, the Udloko, the Ufasimba, Mbonambi, and the Uthulwana. I think there were even more like kind of versions, but I just kept it with this one. There will be a hardcore Zulu War mod coming out, so maybe Sam and his team will actually expand on the units, on the Zulu unit roster. I just kept it that way. Also want to thank actually Sam and his team because he's one of these Aglo Zulu hardcore mod for Total War, and I had permission to use the model, so I'm very thankful. So I'm going to show you battle replay I have done about how actually it works. It's I think balanced now. Gaming in a Daydream actually made a video about it, that he always was losing against the Zulus. Now with this feedback I lowered slightly, the emphasis is on slightly, some stats of the Zulus. That means that the Zulus, let me just go back so that we have an idea. They have a lower melee, a bit of lower melee attack, a bit of lower morale. That's actually it. So you can see that well, this one is approximately the same. You can see that before I think it was 7-7. So I lowered a bit the morale and the melee attacks. So here before was like 10 or even 12 morale. So they have been slightly lowered. So then you have an idea that when you have a certain amount of British units, then you can still beat them. But you have to do some little tactics. You will see in the replay that I do to beat them, because you know, when you get when you have 3 times as much as units on the battlefield, it is much more difficult. So what is the point of the battle is that, you know, you have to try to keep them far away from you and try to shoot them as much. So what you have to do is maybe create defenses or delay them until your army is actually good, has a good position, especially open ground. That's the best, of course, because in a wooded forest, it gives you some penalties and whatsoever. So you have to delay them. The way I always use them, or that I use, for example, the British, is I use skirmishers in the front line because they can actually go at the deployment zones entirely to the front, and you actually kind of create like wooden sticks or wooden palisades so to delay them, because you know the pathfinding will calculate the AI to, okay, how am I going through my units, so you have to delay them and use cavalry to also delay them and just skirmish. So you actually have to skirmish as much as possible to retreat them all the time until you go to the main body of your troops, so the real hardened regiments. So not like not all native contingents, because they're not really good, or they don't have so good melee stats, neither do they have good range stats and accuracy stats, so you know, and morale even, so they run away pretty fast. So you really need hardened British troops, and you can actually beat them. So let's just I just will show you, and hopefully it doesn't crash. Sometimes it crashes. So you know, every MP mode, or because an MP mode is actually mods in one, you could say, they all have their own music and UI. I will show you later in another dev diary how you actually do it. So then you have their own UI pictures and whatsoever. But all mods, or MP mods, sub mods, you could say, they all work together. So that's not a problem. But you can use them apart. I actually recommend to use them apart, because that means lesser pack files have to be loaded, and that's better for performance, and lesser, and also better for crashes, because you know, it's also a possibility with all the gigabytes of files it has to load. It's pretty a lot. Okay, we are here. This is a replay I have here. It's going to be very slow, especially in the beginning, because the AI was actually, I put the AI on attacking, but I think because some stats have been lowered, the AI is smart enough actually not to move forward, so they are actually letting me to go forward while I'm defending. Now the AI will only do that when the timeline has been created as unlimited, so it means they have enough time. If you put a timer like 60 minutes, 40 minutes, or 30, I don't remember how much it was, 20, 40, 60 I think it was, then it will go more forward, because then the AI calculates like, okay, I only have that a certain amount of time. But now it's unlimited, so the AI just can't stand and then actually you have to come. So I was like, okay, that's pretty smart of them. So I was like, okay, no problem, because I was thinking, okay, I'm going to leave my skirmishers here, and I let them come, and I just skirmish them. So when they come forward, the Zulus, I can shoot and just retreat, shoot and retreat until I am at my main body of armies. Now I could see they were not doing that, so I was like, okay, so I have to use a different tactic to actually let them come to me. Now remember, the Zulus are really fast. They run fast and walk a bit faster than your regular troops, you could say, you know, European troops. So yeah, that's, you also have to think or take account of that. So use actually maybe the cadence that actually helps you a bit for speed. But here you can see some of the units here from the Zulus, the Ut Loco, if I say it in a correct way. They're mixed up with the Uthulwana. So remember, all the unit parts were made by the guys from the Napoleon Anglo-Zulu War mod, so you know, thanks for them. I just added them here and did some little changes here and there. But we have the Ingo Ba Makosi. Okay. Yeah, that's not really my stuff. Yeah, they're very famous spear, half spear you could say. And this is the same unit. And this is the Intlondo, we already have seen it. This is more the basic unit of the Zulu army, you could say. You have the same one as before. And as you can hear, they actually speak Zulu. and that I actually have I took the sound files from Civilization, so yeah, I just put them in. The rest I actually put on silent because I didn't have all these voice-over lines, because I don't think there are so many people that speak Zulu that actually watch my videos. So here we have the hood loco again.
Uvumelelana amabutho akho enza intando yawo. Kufanele asebenze ndawonye.
Ufa Simba, you can also be.
Hlakaniphile njalo kususa umsindo.
They speak Zulu, so it's good.
Uqedile ukusa kwami.
We have the Mbonambi or whatever that is.
Emaphusheni akho. Uqedile ukubusa kwami.
Or just take out the
Kodwa
mirror.
usazongibona emaphusheni akho.
Now you can see the how you call it, the balance of power here is really huge in my favor, but yeah, it doesn't take account so much about the modern units. So I mean, I have a lot of modern weapons and whatsoever, so yeah, that's why they have lesser value for the balance of power. But you have to be careful. As I said, don't let them come forward to you, because then it's going to be very difficult to fight them hand to hand, while a musket with a bayonet and the British regular troops were professional troops that know what they were doing. Still was difficult, against the Zulus, because Zulus were warriors, pretty good warriors. Here they have the famous Knopkerry that they are using in melee, and here they are using, the scout is using here a flintlock musket. Uthulwana, more of the more elite troops, you could say, from the Zulus. So you can see I'm using the Giza map. Later we will add the other maps. I think that's most of the regular troops of the Zulus. Here you have the chief. The chief is somewhere in the middle. Yeah, that's the chief. Here we have the chief. That's the chief, the Zulu chief. So, and his bodyguards. Let's go to the British, and as you can see, I put my cavalry, because yeah, cavalry is important, especially for flanking and skirmishing. Here we have the Frontier Light Horse, kind of boer type units. They are, I think, one of the best cavalry units of the British Natal force. And as you can see, I put stakes. Okay, I'm moving forward with my cavalry. The reason why is I'm trying to bait them, So I'm going to shoot with this unit. I'm going to shoot that one, and with this unit, I'm going to shoot that one. And let them come to me. Here we have the 6th King's Royal Rifles. With the, I mean, the shaders normally they are green, but because of the dark color environment for the moment, it's, you cannot see it so much. Here we have the Natal Native
An ambush, General! An ambush!
And let me put on pause for a moment so you don't miss the action. Here we have the Transvaal Burger Force. So those are the Boers. They're using the Martini Henrys also. So you have an idea. Here's the officer. Here's the officer. And here we have the 6th King's Royal Rifles. I think we already saw that one. I think I took 2 of them. Here we have the 9th Perth Scott Rifles. Whatever. I think the name is Perthshire Volunteers. Okay. This is the unit, also in green, but you cannot see it very well, but it's green. It's just the color, the environment is like it's like almost kind of evening, and that's why it has that shader applied to it. It's the only thing I miss about Rome 1 and Medieval is that while Shogun 2 is still very like customable, like custom battles, you could use night, day, but I think you could even use in Rome 1, you could even use evening or morning or midday. It was pretty interesting, I think. I'm not sure, but So here we have the 30th Somerset Light Infantry. Also light infantry unit. And then we go to the cavalry, and that's the Sikali. And they are using also Snyder Enfields. So with the officer here. The officer has a Martini Henry. Yeah. Carbine. And as you can see, I'm moving with my cavalry as fast as I can to that unit to shoot him and just skirmish. So when they come forward, normally the unit goes automatically retreats. The only problem is that it only concentrates on one unit. So when another unit comes more forward, it doesn't take account with that unit. And I think actually CA had to fix that, but never got fixed. Here we have the 58th Regiment of Foot with their flags, everything made. And you can see that they're using the famous pith helmet. They are kind of brown because they were actually, for camouflage. They were making it for with tea leaves to make it a bit darker for camouflage because they could see you from very far away. You see in some I think in the movie Zulu, I think they have like white pith helmets, but it's true that they are white, but in battle they were using more of a sand color-ish because of the tea leaves for camouflage. I think in Zulu Down they kind of fixed it that they are using kind of a creamed color more. So they are white, but they just made it for camouflage. So here's the 58 badge officer. And on Martini Henrys, here we have the Naval Brigade, because yes, there was a Naval Brigade at the Battle of Islandwana. I think there was also, not entirely maybe at Ulundi, but there was a Naval Brigade. So here we have the officer, standard bearers, and the Naval Brigade. Here we have the 80th Regiment of Foot. So with the officer and flags. And the badge here. So the badges are easy to find because there's an entire web page that actually dedicates about the British Reform Army. You have a lot of information, so it makes it pretty easy. I don't know which reform it was, but the children's reform was actually a bit later, so it's more based on children's reform, where a lot of regiments were amalgamated and had a different naming convention. But they are here. So here we have the 57th Regiment of Foot. And then we have here the 21st Royal Scots Fusiliers with their flags and the emblem, 21st here. Also the badges here are from the regiment historically. Then we have the 3rd Regiment of Foot with the officer and the emblem. Yeah, the guns I will see directly. Here we have the 99th Regiment of Foot with their flags. Now the flags are based on most of the regimental flags I could find, so maybe not all of them are correct, but they are pretty close, so don't kill me for that. So here we have the 99th Regiment of Foot with the officer, etc. Here we have the 94th Regiment of Foot. Same with the badge. And here we have the 24th Regiment of Foot, famous of the movie. I think the movie Zulu was about the 24th, or one of the battalions at least. So with their green stuff here. So, and the pyramids. And here we have the, my apologies, I had to burp, 91st Argyle Highlanders. They're using like a Scots pants because I think it was reintroduced, the kilt, in after the children's reform, if I'm not mistaken. But they had pants. So here they are, the officer, and the color of the sun, as you can see, is like a Scots pants. So here you can't see it because of the shadow, because I have shadow on, but here you can see it. So yeah, everything is ultra for me. So here we have the guns. This is a 6-pounder Armstrong gun. You know it from the game, so the vanilla game, but they have now a smaller barrel. The vanilla one is kind of a 12-pounder, I think it is. Was mostly famous used in the Boshin War. Just a little history tip. I mean, not history, but history lesson, you could say. The Armstrong was built by the British in the 1860s, but in the end, the Royal Ordnance reverted back to muzzleloaders in the 1870s. The reason why, at least that's what the official statement was, is that there was some issues with the gun. The gun could burst, especially like higher caliber ones. The smaller ones, like 6 and I think even 4-pounder was something there maybe, or a 9-pounder were okay, but like higher calibers, there were issues that the barrel could burst or whatsoever. Now, it looks like maybe it wasn't really like that, but because the Armstrong guns were just too expensive for the ordnance, and that's why they were like, nah, we just revert back to the muzzle loaders. So yeah, so now you have an idea actually why they actually reverted back to muzzle loaders. Well, still doesn't make sense for me because in the end, most European powers, Western powers, actually were taking breech loaders as their standard weapons. Even the French, after their debacle at the Franco-Prussian War, they actually reverted, not reverted, but actually were moving towards breech loaders. So the British were like, nah, let's just take muzzle loaders. So yeah, here's the 6-pounder horse Armstrong gun. Manned by the Naval Brigade, by the way. So here we have then the General's Bodyguard. Yeah, I made like, he's based on Chelmsford. Say based. It's not Chelmsford, but it's based from Chelmsford's model, you could say. And they're using binoculars. Yes, they're using binoculars in like the idle animation. Here we have the 9-pounder rifled Horsefield cannon. So here's the muzzle-loaded Horsefield cannon. So also good guns, but you know the Armstrong are better, you know, because you can reload faster. So here's the 9-pounder Horsefield rifled muzzle-loaded gun. And then we have the Gatling guns. So this Gatling gun was a different model than the American Gatling gun because the ammo box, as you can see, also in vanilla game, is actually like one staff where you put the ammunition. That's a round one, so you could just add ammunition in the round ammo box, and normally it was turning around, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, this is the British one that was used in the Anglo-Zulu War. So you know, after of course the British moved to Gardner guns and to Maxim guns and whatsoever, but you know they were also used in the 1870s. So yeah, let's go back to the battle itself. I hope it doesn't crash, because sometimes the game can crash. Why do you get crashes? Well, the problem lies with the game itself. It can be many factors. Mostly it could be sound. It's FX problems with the sound issues. That's a vanilla issue I had for many years. Sometimes it's direct X11 issues you have. Yeah, it sadly never really worked out, but for me personally, from all the games I've played, it's still vanilla games at least. But here I'm with the light horse, the frontier light horse.
Ready!
I really lost around 80 men almost. This is how you diminish them. Now remember, they are attacking. I am not attacking. But the AI doesn't want to move forward because I calculate that I have just better guns and better technology. So they tried to bait me to go forward. And I'm like, no, I'm going to bait you to go forward. So what I'm doing now is I'm trying to destroy as much as I can. And you will see later they will move forward. Especially when I'm trying to move here, so they will move forward eventually. With the Sikali. They're using the Snyder Enfields, as I've mentioned before. They're already almost. You see their morale going down a lot. Of course, they lost almost a half. So you can see it does work. The rifles are very good, so you shoot much more faster. So you can kill them. So we're almost having shot the half, and that's with cavalry, yeah? You just have to play the tactics. They're using Martini Henry, so they are even better. So they already lost more than half. See, here and there, they already are like wavering because they also lost more men. So we're just at 150. Oof, yeah. You see, now it starts to move, destroying them. They were hiding in the forest. So I'm like, oh crap. So it is very difficult sometimes to micromanage them all, because you're like busy at one side and then you forget another side. This is when you get kind of overwhelmed. So you really have to micromanage them pretty intensively sometimes. I have around 6,000 men, they have around 12,000 around, I'm saying. You will see in the end that they are, that's approximate. So they have approximately a double. As you see now, they are moved forward. See? Like, if you stay here, we're getting shot to pieces. So I'm moving away. My cavalry, so I'm in skirmish mode. Again. Fire! Bloody fast, I guess. Remember, they are fast. So here you can see this unit is already gone, scattered. Only 78 left. So, as you can see, for one reason, sometimes the skirmish doesn't really always work. So you really have to control it. See, so now I was actually moving my entire line forward at a better position, like on a hill position. So I was trying like, okay, I have to keep them here so I can delay them before I can actually put my entire regular army on its position. But it's going to backfire a bit, but it's going to work also a bit. Now my cavalry, as you can see, because I totally forgot about this cavalry because I was busy on the other side, yeah, I'm trying to let them get away, but in the end, yeah, they
Rally round the floor!
So it sucks. So you see how I have to like go from left to right, and so here I'm trying to skirmish, so I'm trying to run away, as you can see. It actually kind of delays them. You can see that
Our men are running,
sir. The AI is struggling a bit. The lag is not because of my graphics, it's because the AI is calculating, because it has to go through the stuff, so it's a pathfinding issue here. As you can see, yeah, they're too fast, so yeah, I mean,
Prepare to
sadly
receive a charge!
find bayonets because, yeah, they're really fast. So as you can see, they really are fast. So even with my cannons,
Break off attack!
sadly not. my cannons are firing now because I was like, okay, I'm going to keep my cannons behind so I can actually shoot him, because it also, cannons are not only to destroy but also for moral affection, so it actually has great moral impact also on the enemy units. So yeah, with my cavalry, because I was like, oh crap, I'm having a problem here, so yeah, I had to put my cavalry to hold them back, so I can then actually put my army in position, as you can see here.
I decide.
A lot of them, so really you see, it affects their morale. Gatling gun. I actually didn't put him in the right. You see, it's a really bad position. It was stupid of me, so I couldn't entirely use a Gatling gun. So yeah, you have to see that the Gatling gun is in a good position, but otherwise you start firing with the heavy guns. So yeah. I was using like first person mode. Get them as much kills as I can. I already could beat some of them. We have 3rd Regiment of foot.
All units, big spearheads!
It's over.
True! Antiba!
As you can see, micromanaging is easy. But I do manage actually to keep them back.
Stand steady, man!
So, battle going on here.
Troopers, make ready!
Five.
Our men are running, sir.
It affects morale a lot, so it's actually pretty good. See here, I'm fighting against him. But yeah, I'm kind of losing because yeah, this battle was they actually took me in the flank, I think. Yeah. It also has morale penalties if you get attacked by the flank. These cannons. So I'm actually retreating part of my force to have a better position. So you see how I fight. I don't just go and engage like frontal attacks because that's suicide. So you really have to go back and try to shoot them and delay as much as you can so you can shoot more of them. So because that's the way how you actually lower their morale and actually can win the battle. So I was busy with the yeah, here I was
Stick it to her!
Into the breach, man! I moved this one here to shoot this one, but then yeah, the problem of course with this unit, I know this unit I was going to lose because I was like, okay, I can try to shoot as much here, but I know this one was coming towards this unit, so I was like, I have to shoot as much as I can. So yeah, sadly sometimes you have to sacrifice units to hold up the entire main body. So you can see I'm still like retreating, but I'm bombarding them here to hold them back. So that's what I'm trying to do here. And this one I have here, so then I will even later I will go and I'm going to try to go around them so I can shoot them in the rear. I'm tired, so of course it also affects me.
Our men are running.
You can see I'm trying to shoot as much as I can. There are just scouts in there, just not really best for us. You can see the artillery actually helps against the morale, but you know, here I'm like, oh crap, yeah, what am I going to do? So I think I'm going to charge this unit, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Engage the enemy!
That's better position here. So here you can see they're like, I beat a lot of them, and if you see the units, it's a scout, except this is the chief, but this is a scout also. This is, okay, these are more better units, you could say, they're better units. So actually I shot most of the good units so far. So
All units,
but as you can see, I was like, okay, I have a better position now. So I let them come to me and I can shoot them to pieces.
Our men are
I
running,
lost
sir.
this part of the battle, but that doesn't mean nothing. So I still had one unit in reserve, the 58. I was like, okay, I'm going to keep them. If they are lost, I can do a last stand over here with some canister shot, shrapnel shot. Lost the battle here. I can kill a lot of them. Repositioning. They're running away. So, okay, I'm repositioning here. As you can see, this the 18th Regiment of Foot, the 7th and the 5th. You see, I'm in a better position because I'm on a hill here, so that helps also.
double time.
So, as you now can see, I mean, most of the units they have here, I mean, this is wonderful, eh? If you can shoot that part, it's like a lot of units with a lot of cannon shots. You can actually, like, affect their morale, because yeah, who likes to be shot by artillery? No one really affects your morale. But a lot of them are like scouts, loco, scouts, chief. So I mean, there's some good units, but actually most of the units are very quality units. So here I have another unit, the naval brigade. Is that the naval brigade? Yeah, it's a naval brigade. Military cadets to go a bit faster.
Here they come!
So I was like, okay, I had an idea. I'm going to use this unit to shoot them in the rear when they're all busy with my line here. Now, I was like, oh crap, I have to actually put my units as fast as I can because I see them like running towards me, so I really have to make a line so I can start shooting as fast as I can. Because the faster I shoot, the more it affects their morale, especially when you kill a lot of unit in the first shot. It affects really hard the morale.
Troopers!
As you can see, with the artillery, it starts affecting a lot of the morale. So this one I'm going to try with the naval brigade, shoot them for impact. And I use Neil fire because I got more effect with that. You can see, guys, come on, fire! See, it's already running away. Can you believe that? Because of the artillery attack and the shot. They're all running away. So I'm winning the battle, guys. You can see how the way you have to fight against the Zulus. Otherwise, don't just fight a frontal attack. You really have to use tactics.
Glorious victory, sir! It's soon to be yours.
With them. And artillery. It's the only, like, good quality units they actually
Hayi pesa. Izingane
they're
zakwaZulu
very tired, so it's easy for them. And they're see, they're like all, yeah, it's finito. I won the battle. So you can see, guys, how I won the battle by using tactics. It's over. So this is the way I actually won the battle, and this is how you kind of have to fight against the Zulus, because otherwise, if they come with a large amount of number, of course, this is the double. I mean, Gaming in a Daydream only did like I think there were 3 times as much. But I think even with 3 times as much, if you use defensible tactics by you're trying to delay them, you use defensibles, for example, or whatsoever, it actually can help in the long run to keep them a bit further away so you can shoot them with artillery behind you. Let's end the battle. Now, I'm not a master Shogun 2 player. I'm just a modder, but I understand a bit. Okay, how can I actually win this battle? You know, because normally the game is based from line to line. So here we have 5,600 something to 11,700, so almost 12,000. Let's say almost 300 men lesser than 6,000. But you can see that I lost a lot of men, of course, more than the half. But I killed 8,200. I mean, that's a lot. And you know, they lost 8,225, and they killed 3,257. So let's look at the statistics. The battle was 22 minutes in total. So the 80th regiment killed 1,191. I mean, could you believe that? That's crazy. The Gatling guns, yeah, I really bad. I think if I had put them on a better position, like above the hill more, so they could shoot kind of down, I think I had, you know, more kills. But you know, sadly, it wasn't possible. So you can see the kills of the Zulus. I'm playing on normal, by the way. So yeah, I mean, it is made for normal or hard, but you have to understand that everything above normal, the battle AI, they actually get kind of like, how you call it in English, not penalties, but the other way around. So, you know, they get a lot of resources added to their stats, you know, hidden resources, you could say. So that's why I'm you know, it's best normal, because normal is more equal, you could say, kind of, it's equal. If you say, oh no, I can do it, fine, you can play on hard, even very hard if you want, but I think hard, very hard, you will lose, especially with the double of the men, because the morale, you know, they get more resources, hidden ones, so yeah, it's not really made for that. But normal is actually kind of the more equal play for the game. So that's actually what I wanted to show you in the Anglo-Zulu War update for the MP mod that will come. There's also another one coming. I will make another dev diary for that. And then later, when I have everything ready for the next update, I will create an installation video again and use an installer, so it makes it easier for the people to install the newer version of the MP mod. So yeah, that was it. If you have any questions about it, about the mod and whatsoever, let me know. Put some comments below if you want to. And yeah,